early.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it gives people time to join in.
Hi,
So,
everybody.
and let's. Oh, oh man, I hit the wrong button. No, I hit extra buttons. We've been live to the streams for the past 5 minutes,
Holy mackerel.
and I didn't mean to be. But that's okay. I mean, I don't think we said anything that bad. We didn't give away your
No, no,
address.
no, no, no.
No. And we gave away your last name last week, so that's and we
That's
didn't even
right. That's
we didn't
right.
even say that in the past 5 minutes, even if we did. But
And I'm openly saying that I'm a Twitmo right now.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
actually, I wish I had time to kind of go. Let's see, how would I put bars in front of me?
Well, if you're still using for the green screen
The
effect,
XSplit.
are you
Now
still
this is
using
just
XSplit?
this. Well, this one is just
Oh, this is just StreamYard.
the StreamYard's
Because with
green
XSplit, well, what you
screen.
could do is if you could get an image of like jail bars, but you
Yeah.
have to make it a transparent image, whereas instead of
Yeah.
it
Oh
being
yeah.
white,
Oh
it's
yeah.
lack of. So like you would get like jail bars, either a transparent jail bars GIF off of the internet, or jail bars that you open in Photoshop and delete the white and turn it and save it as a transparent, and then overlay that in
Yeah.
XSplit.
Yeah.
Well, what we could do is we could ask people to hold their hand up like this, so they're looking at you through fingers, like they
Oh
are
yeah,
jail
yeah, yeah,
bars.
yeah,
So
yeah.
there
But
you
then
go.
again,
You got to
oh,
close
but it
one
has to be
eye.
one side of the screen because otherwise you're under.
Yeah, yeah. No, you got to hold it to the right side of the screen. See, right now you're in jail behind my fingers, and no, this doesn't work too good. Um, that's pretty dumb,
Oh
actually.
well.
I tried, but I
Right.
failed. But that's okay because it is now 8 o'clock, which means it is now time once again for everyone's favorite internet radio show,
Insert title here.
the show that changes names so frequently we put a placeholder in and then we stop changing the name because it's just,
Insert title here.
and it's been
Insert title here.
for quite some time. Although for a while we were calling it the timeout with Dune. Because Dune kept putting us in timeout whenever we would retweet or tweet things. Whereas Brian, you're in permanent timeout in Dune's world. He don't want to see your Twitter account. He's just like he has noped your Twitter account. Now you're not blocked on Twitter. I mean, because you tag him, he tags you, so you both exist in each other's Twitter worlds. But
the interesting thing is you respond to somebody whether you like them or not, and suddenly they're ending up in your feed, even if you don't follow the person. I'm kind of at the point where why am I bothered to follow anybody?
Well,
I'd follow you, but what's the difference?
Well, sometimes I read up on someone's feed if they come into my feed to figure out if it's parody or serious. Because these days you need context to figure that out sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Parody has become too real.
Totally.
You know what my favorite example I read today of parody becoming pretty real? You familiar with the movie Idiocracy? I take it.
Well, I haven't watched it.
Okay. Well, the premise of the movie is that a guy was involved in some kind of a scientific experiment where they were freezing him to kind of wake him up from a deep freeze a certain amount of time later, and something went wrong with the experiment that he was forgotten about for many, many generations. So the premise is that this guy is transported to the far future of civilization. And when
it's like Woody Allen's Sleeper, right?
Maybe I suppose. But the premise of this is that although technology evolved and there is more futuristic technology in the future, all the smart people were too busy and too distracted to reproduce, whereas all the idiots continued reproducing in large amounts. And so you get to a future where you have this futuristic technology, but the entire population are just really dumb. And And one of my favorite examples of this is that the top movie that won the Oscars that year, when this guy wakes up and is investigating the future, was a movie that was just called Ass, and that's all it was for 90 minutes, was just this ass on the screen. and to shoot this scene, they actually projected an ass on a screen in a movie theater for a period of time, and got like a dummy audience to come in the theater and sit and watch the ass on the screen and point and laugh at it. And I think the scary moment, Mike Judge was involved in making this movie. The scary moment was when he found that the audience was really getting into it and really enjoying watching this movie and finding it funny. Like, there was not a lot of hard acting that went into them laughing at this movie of just a butt on the screen. So it's like, no, we don't have to fast forward a few generations. The future's here. And it's Ass the movie.
Well, of course. Of course, it could have been a planted audience is just told, okay, when you walk in, start laughing.
Yeah, I mean, it was planted, but
Obviously.
it wasn't hard to get the reaction they were going for. The audience had a good time with it, and it's a little scary how easily an audience got into enjoying watching a 90-minute film that's just a guy's ass. Although I don't think they spend a whole 90 minutes filming the scene, but you get the idea. Anyways,
well, how many shall we say variety shows where you have a live audience don't have some dude that holds up a sign that says laugh, cry, boo,
yeah,
shout, whatever.
Yeah, and so that,
so they have audience reactions.
They do. I mean, there is prompting the audience to react, but then again, I think one of the some of the best reactions are the ones that they don't have to hold the signs for.
Sure.
I think my favorite example is there's an episode of Mama's Family that got the longest laugh in the whole run of the series, and towards the I don't know if you've ever watched an episode of Mama's Family. No?
No, I don't think so.
So you've heard of Mama's Family? Know anything about Mama's Family?
I don't know anything about it.
All right. Vicki Lawrence plays Mama. You familiar with Vicki Lawrence?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, it started as a skit on the Carol Burnett show. Are you familiar with that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you've seen episodes of the Carol Burnett show?
Yeah.
Have you seen episodes where they do a skit where Vicki Lawrence has on an old lady's hair and is playing Carol Burnett's mother?
I don't recall that.
No, okay. All right. Well, that was the premise of the sketch. Was Carol Burnett?
I do feel like someone that's is on trial right now. I do not recall that. I'm taking the fifth.
You're taking the fifth. You're not sure you remember that. Okay. Now Sparky remembers Mama's Family.
Good, Sparky.
So the premise of Mama's Family was basically Vicki Lawrence playing an old lady whose son Vint is and some grandchildren are also living with her. By the time we get to the later seasons, her son Vint is living with her and his wife Naomi, and her grandson and one of her other child's Bubba, who's out on probation, is also living with her in a house. And also their neighbor Iola pops in every now and then going, knock, knock. And anyways, the point was that Vint and Naomi decide that they want to have a child. Of course, they're still living in Mama's house, unable to support themselves. So Mama's not quite on board with them trying for a child. So at some point when they're talking about trying for a child or practicing or whatever, Mama makes a comment. Well, like they make a comment about getting frisky in the shower. And Mama makes some kind of comment about, well, make sure you're wearing a shower cap, which is obviously. and this isn't the punchline yet. The punchline is Vint plays kind of a dim-witted character that he doesn't quite get everything. He's a few steps behind. And so later on in the episode, he comes out of the shower. He's got a shower cap on. And so he took it literally. And speaking of literal shower caps, we've got Mars in the house.
Hey, Mars!
I do have a couple shower caps that I've never opened from random hotels.
Now, Brian couldn't find any.
Oh, wow. You...
Well, you go to a hotel, and you see all the stuff. They have the shampoos and the shower caps, and and stuff, and you go, oh, then there's a coffee machine with the crappy whatever coffee they have
Right.
there, and the
And the
little
ice
packets
bucket.
and stuff. Yeah. Well, I don't take the ice bucket. I almost did, but I take everything else.
Take everything. You take the ice though. Just stuff
No,
it in
I
your
don't. I don't use
pockets.
ice, but
No.
but I do take the little bags that you put that they use to put in the ice bucket. I take those. The reason I take those are great. I lived on those for a little while when I used them for my vacuum cleaner. I take all the dust and I put them all in there and I tie it and put it in the trash can when I'm ready. They make great for that. Yeah.
That is good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have
I
thoughts for
never
everything.
thought of taking that.
Yeah. I use it for that. Yeah.
cool.
How about the little plastic cups are wrapped in?
No,
wrapped
I
in
leave
plastic?
those. I don't need those.
The
Well,
disposable cups wrapped
I
individually
typically
wrapped.
use them.
Well, I always have a cup of water next to the bed. I don't know what it is, but sometimes traveling displaces my moisture level to the point that I find myself more thirsty than normal in the middle of the night. And I don't know if that's if there's anything scientific about that,
They
or
give you
if
little
that's
bottles
just
of water, right? Those little bottles.
Typically, well, it depends on your status.
Oh.
It may,
it may.
or they charge you for it.
Oh no, they didn't charge me for
the
this.
complimentary water that complements the room.
Yeah, they don't charge me this. They don't give me like four in the room for every night.
There's sometimes you get in the room and there's a bottle of water and there's the tag on it that goes, as a complimentary service, we will automatically add $2 to your
Well,
room's
typically
fee.
hotel rooms are pretty dry, so that could be part of your problem.
That could be it. That might be what's going on.
Well, my thing was, okay, I actually would always bring my own bottles of water. I'd always bring a thing of like a 6-pack of water. You go to the store and you come back to it, right? That you just bring that with you. And then there's the little bottles of water. They're like what, 6 ounces? They're like teeny, right?
The little shorty ones, yeah.
Yeah. So I would always take those and hide those. And by the end of the week or however long I've been there, I have a bunch of those with me, and then I drink those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I did do something this past week I haven't done in like a year, and that is I have posted a new episode to the Amateur Hour Classics podcast.
Oh.
Which you can find at amateurhourclassics.blogspot.com. It's a blogspot page, and the title.
You know what,
links
Sparky? I
to the
didn't
audio.
say it. I didn't say it. I was nice. I didn't say it.
You didn't say something, but he did. Take a bath.
Yeah. Something you hadn't done in the last year. He said, take a bath.
Oh well,
Yeah.
I take showers, so you're absolutely right. I have not taken a bath in over a year, actually.
Wow.
So, I like to wash myself standing up. Makes it easier to reach every crevice.
Well, at least you wash yourself up. It's all that matters.
Yeah. And I have hot water to do it now because
Yay!
Yeah.
Oh,
So how many
did you fix
days
the
were
pipe?
you out?
well, I spent let's see, when did this happen? I think this happened. Was I talking about this last Monday?
Last
Yeah.
week. Yeah.
Yeah. When I wasn't around, I didn't.
So I did not get the thing fixed until Saturday. So up until Saturday, my routine was basically I had a bucket underneath the leaking pressure relief valve, and I would turn the water off when I was hot water off at night because I didn't want to leave water running in the basement overnight. And in the morning, I would turn the water on for my shower. I'd pitch whatever was in the bucket out the back door, and then start with a fresh bucket. And some days when I turned on the water to feed the hot water to the furnace, it would come out at a slow drip that would take a number of hours to fill the bucket halfway. And if that were the case, I could just leave the hot water on that day because it was more convenient that way, and it was just a half bucket. But then some days I turn on the tap and it starts just running a trickling stream into the bucket that would overflow the bucket in a few hours.
Must be due to the weather, if it's cold or hot.
So it was basically the pressure on and off kept moving the valve or the seal
You just
that was
replaced the
busted.
valve?
So yeah, I had to replace the valve. So what I did was I placed an order on Amazon, and here's the thing: I didn't know what size the pipe was, and Dune said something about like you got to make sure you get the right size. Usually it's 3/4, and so I looked at a 3/4 part on Amazon, and the picture looked like it was right. Of course, I had no scale. So I took a guess, pulled the trigger, ordered the part, and found out it was way too big. I actually have 1/2-inch pipes. Because who needs fucking standards?
No double Big Mac for Sparky today.
So I have 1/2-inch pipes, not 3/4-inch pipes.
So what day did that arrive?
That arrived on Friday. And so and the thing is, I was coughing and hacking and all things like that. So I wasn't going to go to a hardware store on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday and start coughing in people's faces. So that's why I was like, I'll order it and I'll deal with turning the water on and off for the week until this part gets in. Anyway, no. I did not say it was Dune's fault. Dune said something about 3/4 and said something about measuring, and I was just like 3/4. That looks right. So I totally admit it right here that I totally did not listen to Dune, and that was my own damn fault. So Dune doesn't have to get all uppity with the nose. I was the idiot.
Oh, you didn't measure the circumference of the pipe?
I think you measured. Now Dune did measure that I should measure, and it's the interior of the pipe, not the exterior of the pipe.
Yeah.
But I was just like, hey, that picture looks good.
But what size monitor were you looking at on?
My 55-inch TV.
Yeah, 55-inch TV, your pipes could look like it's 4 feet wide.
Everything looks bigger on my TV, so I thought that was what I was...
So then you returned that, right? It's too big, you returned it.
Yeah, next time I'm at the UPS store, I'll just hand it to them and have them scan the QR code.
Why don't you next time say, let's see, I'm not quite sure what size, so I'm going to buy all 3 sizes that they have or whatever.
Well, now I know what size I have. So
for example, let's say you're going to get a pair of shoes.
Well, next time I'll measure.
You're not sure how they're going to fit, so you buy 2 different sizes.
I'll just measure next time.
I'm surprised it actually wasn't written.
Shoes in particular. Some shoes I'll wear an 8.5, but most shoes I wear are 9.5.
Well, shoes I tend to buy in stores where I try them on. But
I'm surprised the pipe actually didn't have anything written on it, what size it was, or at the water heater or something.
Well, the valve did have 150 pounds written on it, and that was the PSI.
Was your pipe that heavy?
No, that was the water pressure that would open up the.
That was actually a good one, Mars. I hope you did that on purpose.
It could hold a 150-pound pipe, is what it is. That's exactly. Well, it
doesn't
say 150 psi. It says 150 pounds. But
yes.
Other people looked at it and said, "Okay, that's 150 psi." But so what I did on Friday after this part came was the wrong part. By then, I'm better. I'm not coughing. I've recovered. So I got in the car and drove out to Lowe's, and I go to the plumbing area, and there's one aisle with all the plumbing stuff, with all the copper pipes and the fittings and the elbows and the valves and I cannot for the life of me find anywhere in this aisle any pressure relief valves. Now, one thing I found out at the next store when I went to Home Depot is that Home Depot had a plumbing aisle and they also had a heating aisle. So it could be that somewhere in Lowe's there was a heating and furnace and water tank aisle that had pressure relief valves with that area.
Did you ask anybody?
Well, I asked for help at Lowe's, and I asked help from someone who was on her way to a break and did not have time to stop and help me, and immediately pulled out her phone and paged someone. And then I waited another 15 minutes and no one ever came, because who the fuck listens to pages? Not employees, that's for sure. So
right.
So I stormed out of the store and I screamed to the lady behind the service desk as I left. No one ever came. I'm getting the fuck out of here, and continued to storm right out. And then when I got to my car, I realized I stormed out of the store yelling at someone, holding a plumbing part in my hand, and it wasn't exactly immediately visible that it was an old decrepit plumbing part. It's like, oh my God, I hope that lady doesn't think I was shoplifting because I couldn't find anyone at the registers. I hope that's not what they thought. But no.
So,
knock on wood, no cops have come. And if anyone reviews the footage to check if I shoplifted, the camera footage would show clearly I walked in and out of the store with the same decrepit part. So,
okay, so I'm looking at the app on Home Depot, and of course it's selected to my store in California.
Right.
And I see whole different styles of 3/4 and 1/2 inch.
Well, here's the thing.
Just a boatload of them. Now, some of them are tagged as.
Some of them are different.
Well, and you would pick the right one. Although I noticed some are available for free delivery, and some are. Oh, here's one that's in stock. That's a 3/4 inch.
Well, I see at this point. Hashtag spoilers. I don't need a valve anymore, so you don't have to shop for one anymore.
Well, I'm just saying.
Now, Dune wants to know if she went big radio on the page, Johnny Walmart style. No, unfortunately, she did not do a classic Johnny Gators. Could any available associate please come to the plumbing aisle to help a customer? Any available floor associate, please come to the plumbing aisle to help a customer. He looks like he might go crazy and might scream obscenities on his way out the door. Thank you.
Gators, you did it wrong. What you're supposed to do, if you're in the plumbing aisle with pipes and everything, get a small pipe and start playing the drums.
I didn't think of that.
You gotta make a scene sometimes to be like, oh, can I help you? I'm like, yes, you can. Thank you.
Sparky's suggesting that some could be soft copper that you could bend if needed. But anyways, no, it was basically one of those, customer assistance, plumbing aisle, customer, thank you. Yeah, that was a page that barely anyone could understand. I could barely understand it, and I knew what she was paging. So that was Lowe's. So I stormed out of the Lowe's, cursed out the service desk, and drove down the street to Home Depot. So I walk into the plumbing aisle at Home Depot. I walk down it once. I can't find any pressure relief valves. There's a guy in a Home Depot vest working the plumbing aisle. So I walk up to him, and I say, excuse me, sir, I'm looking for one of these. And I hand him the pressure relief valve. He takes it, looks at it, and says, what is this? And I said, it's the thing that's leaking on my furnace. And he gave me a look, and I said, I think it's a pressure relief valve. That tag might have some info. And then he looked at the tags and 150. So then he said, did you look over with the heating stuff? And I said, I just got in here and checked this aisle. I mean, the plumbing aisle was next to the front entrance. So we went over to where the furnaces and the water heaters are, and they had 3/4 pressure relief valves. And he picks one up off the wall that is obviously bigger than the one he's holding, and he holds the small thing he's holding next to the big thing in the package. And I think he took a little longer than he should have taken to stare at them, hoping that maybe he could will the big one down to a smaller size. And then he pulls out his phone, and he opens up the Home Depot app on his phone and starts typing things in, and he can't find anything that's in stock at their store that matches this description. So then we come back to the plumbing aisle, walk up and down there. And so he says, you're probably better off coming here tomorrow morning when the plumbing people are here. I work in electronics. And I'm like, you can't help me because you work in electronic. What would you do if I came in here looking for a fuse? I mean, and your app didn't say I had it. How would you find it, and how could you apply that to here? And he kind of gave me a look like, please, kill me now. And I'm like, all right, give me have a nice evening. Fuck you too. And I didn't say fuck you to the guy. I was polite because he actually tried to help me. Unlike the last store. So Lowe's, Home Depot.
Well, it does crack me up though. You go into a store and you ask for a part. The guy whips out his phone and looks it on the app, like
on the same app that I have access to.
Exactly.
Gators.
And you can select a store that you're in to say, yeah, I want it available in this store. Where the frick is it?
See, the last time I was in Best Buy and I couldn't, no one to help me, I went to the stereo section, started playing with the knobs. You know, their stereos go pretty loud. They go very loud. They go very loud. And then I had two people over. Hey, can we help you? And I'm like, yes, you can. Thank you.
Now, Sparky Radigan, why doesn't the guy tell you at the start I work in electronics? Well, that's probably not how they're trained to work, and he probably figured, I'll find this thing on the app, and he'll be none the wiser. But basically he couldn't find it. He didn't know what to do next. He didn't want to escalate to anyone, so he started making excuses like, hey, come back here tomorrow. It's like, dude, I drove out here now, and I'd like to get my hot water working consistently again. Why the fuck should I drive back out here tomorrow? You know, it was just absolutely stupid. I would never in a million years send someone away without what they needed, with the ending of the interaction being, there might be something in the store, but I'm too stupid to help you. Come back tomorrow. Maybe someone smarter than me is here. Anyways, so Saturday I start looking for other places that are open that are not Lowe's or Home Depot, and I found there was some kind of a plumbing supply store in town, not far from here, but they're closed on the weekends, so that was no good. That but then
but you went there.
No, I didn't, because they were closed on the weekends. Why would I go to a place that I knew would be closed?
Oh, you knew it was closed. Okay.
I looked it up. Well, here's the thing. I looked it up on Friday night, and it says opens Monday morning, 8 a.m. But in my brain, I translated that to opens tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. So then the next day, I'm getting ready to go there, and I pull it up on the maps again, and it says closed, opens Monday morning, 8 a.m. And I'm like, wait, I thought it said it would open tomorrow. And it's like, nope, Monday. So that saved me some trouble. So I knew that there was a small local hardware store in the downtown area of the town I live in. And the reason why I don't go there is because, A, it is a whole lot smaller than a Lowe's or a Home Depot, which means that by nature it's going to have a whole lot less stock. So I
depends on what you're looking for.
Right. And I don't know which things they're, high on stock on and low on stock on. So I generally don't want to chance it. I want to go to the big store that has a whole lot more shit on their shelves and more selection. And the other reason why I typically don't go to the small local hardware store is because it's right near the busiest intersection in downtown of this town, and they have a really small parking lot with only a few spots right off the side of the road that backs up to this busy intersection. So it's kind of a pain in the ass area of town to drive through and stop at, and if three people are visiting the store, then I got nowhere to park, and I'm in the middle of a busy intersection, and then I got to kind of circle around like fucking Jaws, waiting for a spot to open up. And not to mention, then when I need to get out of the spot, if the light's backed up, then I'm the idiot sitting. I'm the person sitting at the exit that people have to decide, will I be polite and stop short of them so they can pull out in front of me, or will I be the asshole that blocks them in the parking lot and stares straight ahead as if they don't exist over there?
Yeah, and since they're all New Englanders, they're not going to do that.
It depends. The Rhode Island people are polite to the point of creating accidents.
Right.
Did you call any of these places to see if they had the part before you showed up?
So I got in the car, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm driving to the little hardware store, and hopefully they got a parking spot. And sure enough, they had a parking spot pulled right in.
Kind of a side question. Do you use Google Maps?
Yes, all the time.
And you have an Android phone, right?
Right.
So it's just natural that you'd use it.
Right.
So I was down in Santa Maria talking to my sister-in-law's sister.
Okay.
She used an Android.
So your other sister-in-law.
She's not an in-law at all. I mean, she's unrelated. She happens to be the sister of my sister-in-law. So she's nothing. She's an outlaw.
Your sister-in-law.
She was visiting. They were talking about a place to eat. And I said, well, do you use Google Maps? Because that'll tell you the hours of these different places. Wait, you don't use Google Maps? She says, no, I know where everything I'm going.
Well, that's how
you don't know today.
Well, that's how I knew that the plumbing supply store was closed
Exactly.
on the weekends.
And then she says, well, I know where I'm going. But you're in Santa Maria. You don't know where things are. You live up in Madeira.
Now Dune says, what would Momo do?
And you have an Android phone.
You know what Momo would do? Momo would go to Costco and buy the Bertolli olive oil. That is what Momo would do. And then she'd scream at everyone in the store while looking for it. Yeah. But anyways, so
here's one last thing. One good reason to use Google Maps. So while I was down there, I was looking at the local gas stations and the gas prices. Mm-hmm. And of course, you know that I only go to the one brand.
Yeah, the one that starts with a C and ends with a Hevron.
Yes. Right, exactly. So I go there, but so I search for Chevron gas, and it shows me all the local gas stations and the prices. The range was a difference of 80 cents. So Google Maps saved me 80 cents per gallon, and I put in 15 gallons.
So that's less than $15.
Better than a kick in the ass.
No, yeah, no. $12 is $12, but anyways, that's a good story. Anyways, so the point is I park, I walk into the little hardware store. I'm the only one in there. So the guy running the register is basically, hey, can I help you? You looking for something? So I hand him the old pressure relief valve. So I'm looking for one of these. He takes a look at it. Now, mind you, I'm already at the point where before I saw him, because he was kind of
Sparky. Does Gas Buddy allow you to select the brand?
Now Doom points out that he only drove 40 miles to get there. I was hoping I figure we would give Brian the benefit of the doubt.
Who drove 40 miles to get? Oh no. No. It happened to be the one that was the cheapest was actually literally on the way. There was actually one that was a dime cheaper.
So the one,
but it was way out of the way. That wasn't worth it.
So the one you would have gone to anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, does Gas Buddy also tell you how to get there?
Anyways, so like I say, I walk in the store, and I didn't see the guy right away because the guy was kind of hiding down an aisle or something like that. And so I'm looking in the plumbing section. I can't see anything. And so then the guy goes, "Can I help you?" And I hand him the part. Say, "I'm looking for one of these." And so right next to him is like this locked cage to keep, I guess, the expensive stuff under lock and key. And it's a cage, so it's got bars. And so he reaches between the bars and pulls a small box out from between the bars, demonstrating to me just how secure this system is.
Wow, you got the good stuff. It was behind the easily get through bars.
Yeah. Well, and so sure enough, he had the right part there and sold it to me, and I just screwed I put a little Teflon tape around the threads and screwed it on. Turned on the water, and no drips, no leaks, no nothing. I've left the bucket underneath it just in case, and bucket is bone dry. So
yay, it's worked.
Mission accomplished.
Cool. Okay, let me answer Sparky's other questions.
Well, I got
What's
the tech
so good about
right?
Well, it's a detergent gasoline. Okay, there are others. Mm-hmm. In fact, there are others that are cheaper. But I buy it Safeway, and when I have enough points, I get 20 cents off. Oh. And as a former employee, I get another nickel off.
I thought Chevron was cool because the commercials used to have the little cars that would drive around.
Not currently.
The little toy cars. Well, you've brought in those toy cars for the kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Brian, well, you're like an uncle to some of the coworkers' kids at times, right?
Yeah.
So I remember at one point there were some Chevron toys that came in. But now Dune telling me don't F with it again. Now, mind you, it wasn't my effing with it that started the leak. It was my effing with it that escalated the leak. I mean, the reality is that it's perfectly fine to touch a pressure relief valve when it's new.
I'm not touching it.
But if it's,
I'm not
I don't.
touching it.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know at what point it becomes worn. But if you touch a pressure relief valve and that causes it to leak, it already should have been replaced anyways. So, although it's, I don't. You know what? That's probably something like an extra roll of toilet paper or an extra propane tank that you should probably always have a spare in the house.
Oh, does everybody always have an extra roll of toilet paper in the house?
Yes.
You go, oh, I need toilet paper. Oh, crap, I'm completely out.
Well, I think Dune once compared a second propane tank for the grill to a spare roll
Well,
of
you have
toilet
to have a
paper
second
that
propane.
you have on the back
Gators,
of the tank.
what if you're in the middle of a steak? What are you
Right.
supposed to do? You have to use the grill. You can't.
Exactly.
That's important. That's more important than a second roll of toilet paper. You can use your sock. That's fine.
I'm low on socks right now, actually.
By the way, Sparky? What's Turkey Hill?
Turkey Hill? They make ice cream, right? Well, actually, Turkey Hill is a chain of quick marts type of things.
What about BP? Are they gone? What happened to BP? They used to have a cool gas station. They were green. Remember that?
By the way, we have the coolest gasoline station name that's regional in California.
Mm-hmm.
Rotten Robbie's.
Oh yeah, my mom used to buy their cigarettes here. She loved her. She loved.
Oh,
Rotten
they sell
Robbie's
cigarettes
place.
there?
Why,
All
Oh
right.
yeah.
why would you get your gas at Turkey Hill when they have far superior breakfast sandwiches at the Sheets?
The what?
You don't have to buy the gas to get the sheets, do you? The sandwiches.
I'm just speaking the Pensy lingo. That's it.
Wow. I don't know.
Now, dude says, I don't ever remember saying that, but that's solid advice that I would give. You see, yeah. I think he said that years ago when I first got a gas grill in California. That he's like, did you get the second propane tank? It's like that second roll of toilet paper. You should always have the one ready there because it's always right in the middle of something that the first one runs out.
Those two bastards.
Sparky pointing out the Sheets only gives you 3 cents off. Oh, okay. All right. Well, besides, I guess breakfast sandwich, breakfast ice cream. I'll take the ice cream, actually.
Yeah, no problem. Breakfast ice cream.
Yeah.
Ice cream for breakfast?
Yeah, I do that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, just checking.
Heck, you never had a fresh Belgian waffle just hot off the iron, covered in ice cream for breakfast?
Actually, Brian, what you should try. This is good for breakfast too. Okay, you get your dairy at the same time. You get your big scoop of ice cream, the vanilla ice cream, and you put it in your coffee in the morning for 1 cup. You get your ice cream and your coffee in the same thing. Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah.
See, that's excellent breakfast right there.
That's a good idea. It's like a coffee float.
It is. It's really good.
Yeah.
Now, Sparky pointing out that Turkey Hill does have BF sandwiches. Maybe not in Boston. Well, Boston, we don't have Turkey Hills or Sheets here. I went to college in Pennsylvania, so I'm going back to when I was there. Well, Gothard was the one who was a real big fan of getting the breakfast sandwiches from the Sheets. And you had 2 options when it came to the breakfast sandwiches and Sheets. You can get it on a schmuffin or a schmisket. And the schmisket was really, it was a biscuit, the type of thing that's flaking and breaking apart, which is a bit messy if you're trying to eat the breakfast sandwich in the car. But it had that flaky biscuit thing that was just great, whereas the schmuffin was more like an English muffin, which was more convenient for the car.
Croissants,
but lacking.
See, I prefer English muffin
Croissants.
over a biscuit any day,
Croissants?
any place.
Croissants. And Sparky going, yeah, Sheets names of stuff is kind of stupid. Dude going, schmuffin? Yeah, English muffin, but you just replace the beginning with a schma for Sheets. So it's schmuffins and schmiskets.
What if you have to use the restroom? Do you say you have to take a schmoop?
I have to take a schpiss. Dude wants to know if I'm shitting you guys. No, I shit you not.
He's schmitting.
Sheets sells muffins and schmiskets. Sparky Toaster can back me up on this.
Is this like an Eastern Pennsylvania thing?
Yeah, it's a Pennsylvania thing. Sheets. You've never been to a Sheets?
No.
I'm telling you, this is a real thing.
Now Gators.
And I don't recall seeing that in
I will say,
Pittsburgh
Gators,
area.
we will be getting a Kroger here.
Oh yeah, there was a big merger of grocery stores, wasn't
there?
Yeah. Do you think they'll rename the Albertsons to
probably?
To Kroger?
Probably.
This is exactly what we need: less competition. So this is a big win once again for.
And of course, in California, you kind of go. Let's see. You got Safeway, you got Albertsons, you got Lucky's.
Well, Albertsons and Lucky's were the same,
who
right?
Owns who?
Albertsons and Lucky are the same company.
Now, who owns ShopRite?
I don't.
I don't
Is
know.
that near you?
No, that's Jersey. I miss ShopRite.
Albertsons, Lucky's are the same company.
Yeah.
So those will become Kroger as well.
Probably. Well, I think they kept two different names to say, there's two different stores to shop from, but they're the same store. So they might turn one of them into Kroger and one not. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'll close one.
Another step closer to monopoly, another loss for all of us. But what are you gonna do?
Okay.
Headquarters of Albertsons is Boise, Idaho.
Oh.
Didn't even know that.
Yeah, we knew. Oh,
list of subsidies, whole long list, including Safeway. I thought they were connected, and Vons. We stopped at Andronico's, and we found that they're in the coupon system with for Chevron gas. So if you get the points, you get the Chevron gas to get your 20% off, 20 cents off.
Now I'm feeling a bit stupid here right now because I asked the question who owns ShopRite, and I should have known the answer to that.
Is it Wawa?
No, it's Wakefern owns ShopRite. Duh. Of course I should have known that. My grandfather only worked for Wakefern for many, many, many years. But I didn't know if Wakefern was owned by another company that also owns other supermarkets, or if they are their own thing. But I was mostly just teasing myself there. But because I Google who owns ShopRite and it says Wakefern, and it's like, duh. But no, I think ShopRite is still kind of their own thing, just owned by a company with a different name.
Okay.
So I guess that's a good thing we got going for us in New Jersey. They are still, let's see, ShopRite has been the largest food retailer in New Jersey for close to 70 years.
There you go.
Is also number one in the entire New York metropolitan area. Apparently Albertsons and whatever and all those things, they've not been able to display ShopRite in the
not yet
Jersey area as
Just wait.
number one.
Just wait.
There we go. But yeah, ShopRite, you get out of Jersey, you don't see them so much.
I've never seen a ShopRite, so
that's pretty much who I grew up shopping at.
I don't Jersey, so
yeah. So now, Brian, how long have you lived in California? Because you've been around. You've been in Denver. You've been in Texas.
22 years or so. 22, maybe 23. Starting to lose count. And I didn't subtract off the 2 years for being in Singapore.
Well, there is that. So, anyways, what other topics we got going on tonight here? Well, now, Brian, you are now tweeting from your backup account.
Correct.
Because you are in twit mode.
What happened, Brian?
Correct.
What happened?
Okay.
What happened?
This is hilarious.
Did you pee off the tea guy?
Ooh. So, I saw this candidate that is a political candidate, and he said some nice things. So I said, "Hey, break a leg." Oh. Well, break a leg apparently incites violence, so therefore I was banned.
You didn't say it ironically. You said it like literally in the good luck
straight
sense.
Out. Yeah,
just,
exactly.
You were wishing him luck.
Oh,
damn.
So are you
no
gonna be able
luck
to come
for
back,
me.
or
Well, when I found it, I had a 5-day ban.
oh,
So and
from
that was
Twitter.
from Twitter, right.
So
So
yeah.
hopefully I'll be back
So
in business by next week.
So Brian was banned from Twitter for wishing the candidate that he wanted to be supportive towards to break a leg in the good luck sense. And we're not saying
I like
who
the
he
Twitters.
we're not saying who he was wishing good luck, but let's just say the person doesn't carry around a fake police badge. But moving
I don't
right
know.
along.
Yeah, possibly.
Is he? I don't know.
Now, dude asking, is Johnny rolling weed? Well, I was enticing the cat up here, and there is some catnip on here, and sometimes the cats, if I shuffle around the catnip on here, they kind of know that that's what's going on up here, and they'll jump up. So I just want Hestia to get a little bit of airtime, and and if people are going to get pissed off, okay, we'll just we're not going to talk more about it. But the point is the point is that Brian was actually wishing someone good luck, and got put in Twitmo for it. That's the real point.
Twitter jail.
And I mean that's kind of stupid. Now you said that you got put in Twitmo for speaking Hollywood lingo, and I immediately started thinking of Gilbert Gottfried going, "You fool!"
I know it.
I was hoping you'd get the reference. You did you get that one? That was a classic moment.
Basically. I forgot the exact detail.
Well, it was Hollywood Square, so that's why I went to Hollywood lingo.
Yeah. Okay.
And Gilbert was the last one of the celebrities that didn't have an X or an O lit up in front of him, so he had to be the tiebreaker. So whichever contestant got his question right, to agreeing or disagreeing, would win the round. And Gilbert just kept bluffing back and forth, and they just kept getting it wrong. And so every time they said I agree or I disagree, they were wrong, he just screamed back at them, "You fool!" So.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I highly recommend finding that clip on YouTube after we're done with this. Now, Brian, what prompted you to suggest bringing up the Digital Millennium Copyright Act as a show topic?
Oh, we don't have to talk about it. I just saw that. I go, oh, we could talk about this.
I'm curious what brought that to your is there anything that happened recently that would bring
No,
that to
no, I don't know. It just came up over the blue, and I go, oh, that looks interesting. I'm not sure why I'm seeing that.
I don't know why you were seeing it either. Although I find it interesting.
And I think it was on Facebook. And I go, oh, okay.
I mean, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act was basically this act that brought copyright law into a modern era of strikes and things like that.
Sure.
For doing things on the internet, and I think the Digital Millennium Copyright Act is where you got like the 3 strikes rules, and it's also the thing that basically it took ISPs off the hook for copyright infringement that their customers perform, so long as they cooperate in enforcing the rule to their customers. And
right.
It's one of those things that's a conflict of interest, because a big story was when Cox got in trouble because basically people that are big fucking assholes have nothing better to do with their time police the internet, find people infringing on copyright law, and then send takedown notices. And so that's where like people from Cox are put in a position of, your customer did something stupid. Stop letting your customers have your service and pay you money for it. And it's not exactly in Cox's best interest to, turn off their customers and then possibly impact their billing. Now, Sparky wants to talk about nuclear fusion next week because he's thinking about it right now.
Fusion? That's exciting.
Nuclear fusion as opposed to nuclear fission, right? Because
fission would be fun too.
Fission could be fun.
Now, I was surfing. What was it? It was on Amazon Prime, and I saw this thing. What was it? It was the world of quantum physics and me or something like that. It was a documentary, and it said it was 13 plus. And I'm like, I don't know any 13-year-olds that are talking about quantum physics or entanglements, but whatever works for them. I was impressed.
Anyways, Brian, what was up? Anything interesting?
Oh, I just have an event tomorrow. That's why I picked it up. Like, okay. Lunch with a guy I know.
Now, Sparky's saying, let's talk about PayPal wants to fine people $2,500 if they say something on social media that PayPal does not. Whoa, okay, that sounds like a summary. I'm not even sure.
Is this the reason why some people are calling to boycott PayPal?
I'm not even sure how that would even be legal, let alone happening. But you've got my interest. Anyways, to sum up the Digital Millennium Copyright Law, like Cox got in trouble because they were trying to do a little slap on the wrist, like give people a quick little timeout and just try to appease the industry that's sending these things and trying to not turn off people's service long term or permanently. And the problem is that Cox had internal emails where they were basically talking about like not taking this 3-strike stuff seriously, and they got a major fine for that. So basically, Digital Millennium Copyright Law strong arms ISPs into blocking your service if the industry don't like what you're doing on the internet.
Right.
But Sparky wants to talk about now. Apparently, PayPal has been backpedaling. All right, so let me Google this. PayPal social media fines.
What did PayPal do? It's yelling at me.
Well, there's a fact check article on Reuters, so this sounds totally completely legit. But this is from October 11th. Fact check confusion on social media as PayPal says policy to fine customer $2,500 in damages for misinformation was issued in error. Okay, so that would be the backpedaling.
Misinformation about what? About what?
So maybe they made this announcement, and I'm only guessing, about fining people. Maybe their legal department just was laughing their ass off. So when they stopped laughing, it says, no, we have to backpedal on this.
Okay, well, someone tweeted something about it that has a link that now goes to a 404 not found on PayPal's page. So PayPal has already taken down whatever this thing is that was being referenced. So let's read this article since I don't have the starting point, but hopefully this at least explains what the starting point was. On October 10th, Reuters reported a spokesperson for the company saying PayPal is not fining people for misinformation. This language was never intended to be inserted in our policy. We're sorry for the confusion this has caused. According to the company, an earlier policy update that said customers could have to pay $2,500 in damages for misinformation was sent in error. The original policy update sparked widespread criticism on social media, with some saying the policy was a violation of their free speech. And then we see a bunch of tweets. Shares of the company were down about 6% since the update. Missing context, a PayPal spokesperson said that the policy was updated as a mistake and customers will not be fined $2,500 for misinformation. So I'm a little confused why this was put in there in the first place. And
I wonder if they were confused.
Well, I mean, the thing is that it's unfortunately, it's hard to gauge what PayPal's intent was because it's in PayPal's best interest to play this off as a mistake. And that's exactly what PayPal would do whether or not this was the truth. So it's very hard to judge if PayPal is being forthcoming and honest about this in a oops, this was an accident, or if PayPal was really trying to do something a little ridiculous.
I don't know. I never read their thingies. They send me an email. I go, oh, that's nice. Delete. I see you're updating your terms of service. Okay, delete. I don't care.
And Sparky pointing out companies need to just stay the hell out of politics. When the company goes political, they instantly piss off 50% of the customer. And that is a good rule of thumb. I mean, that's been a rule of thumb. You know, if now you know me, I've put out there what my alignments are, and I pretty much have low viewer counts anyways. I don't, you know, but I don't.
Well, we're not.
But
I
also don't hold it against anyone to disagree with me because but then again, I'm not a company. So yeah, as a company and organization, but businesses are people too.
And you're
right?
not, and you're not getting paid.
I did get paid.
What?
I got to figure out what to do with that now. I had no idea my Twitch account was accumulating anything.
Yeah, probably from the ads. Usually
They
every time you get an
sent
ad,
you
it's
money.
like 2 cents.
They sent you money.
Well, I thought the email was a fish at first because I got an email saying, "Hey, you've been direct deposited funds." And so I did not click the link. I went to my bank account, and sure enough, I was directed. Now I believe Dune has a good policy with his Twitch account that he likes to pay it forward. So I think I basically have some money that I got to go subscribe to a bunch of Twitch
I think it's
channels
like every
now.
time you see an ad, it's like 2 cents for you guys or something.
And I guess that added up. Now if you guys want to cut, you know, I figure.
I don't.
Well, I figure I'll just, and I don't mind being transparent here. Basically, I got $60 for everything I've done on Twitch up to this point.
You can make Johnny Gators merch.
So I need to figure out how many channels I need to subscribe to spend $60 and make that $60 disappear back out of my account and reinvest in Twitch because I'm not in this for the money. So I think I like the idea. Pay it forward. Subscribe to other Twitch channels or cheer and you know, let's you know, I'm gonna have to do something with that. Or I could my next time out in California take us out to a nice dinner. Or I could do both.
I would just pay it forward.
No, I'm gonna pay it.
I will say I did get a Go-Gurt ad before your stream. So.
Oh wow, Go-Gurt! I'll buy $60 worth of Go-Gurt then.
No, what are you gonna do with? Honestly, Go-Gurt isn't that amazing. I mean, I would not buy $60 in Go-Gurt.
I don't. What is that?
It's yogurt in a tube.
So it's yogurt on the go. So it's Go-Gurt.
Yeah, it's yogurt in a tube. You can freeze it and make frozen yogurt. Actually, that's not bad either.
Which is slightly more intelligent than a Schmuffin or a Schmisket. So there you go.
I buy applesauce in like a Capri Sun container.
Oh, and I just open up our stream and I'm getting a Toyota ad.
Oh, great! Yogurt's better than Toyotas. Just saying.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can use a Toyota to go get that Go-Gurt, right?
So Brian,
where do you get Go-Gurt?
The grocery store.
Kroger.
Oh, see, well, yeah. Now that
I don't know, you know, maybe one of the larger Sheets that has a snack aisle, they might have some yogurt options. Maybe you can get a Go-Gurt at Sheets.
You can get Go-Gurt anywhere.
It'd be Go-Gurt.
Right.
So
yeah.
So going back to the Digital Millennium Copyright Act.
Oh, the DMCA. Whee!
It talks about how it's like the act that's responsible for you not being able to play other copyrighted works. But you know
without permission.
But you know what's without permission. But you know what's an even bigger deal and shaped where we are now. Oddly enough, one of the guys that is very responsible for the state of reusing other things in your work and the copyright implications of that is a fellow by the name of Gilbert O'Sullivan. You familiar with that dude, Brian?
But you're going to refresh my memory anyway.
Not if you
the name rings. I don't know how he applies here. Go for it.
You don't know how he applies here, but do you know who the dude is?
Vaguely.
Can you name one thing the guy's done?
Nope, not a thing.
Okay, so I do have to refresh your memory.
Of course.
Do you at least know what
Gilbert O'Sullivan?
Do we at least know what decade we're in? With
Gilbert. If it's you, it's probably 70s, but
that you would be absolutely right.
Born in 1946.
Well, we gotta be careful because he might sue me. But
he's 75 years old. He's not, so he's not dead yet.
See, there you go. He can sue you for $59.95, and you can use that $60 on your lawsuit.
And yeah, there we go. I have $60 towards a lawsuit when Gilbert O'Sullivan sues my ass. Because, well, here's what happened. So here's the song. You may have heard this song. And the thing is that the song is absolutely not a true life experience. It's just something he wrote. He's a traditional songwriter that is very.
This is Alone Again Naturally.
Oh, yeah.
So you know the song now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Classic song.
And I saw that. That's the first link on the list on Wikipedia.
Now, any opinions on this song back in the day? You like it, hate it, bought the
It's
record?
fine. It's fine.
It's.
Did you get this in dollar bin special?
Yes, I have bought this for $1.
I wondered.
Which makes it that much more ironic how much it's going to cost me if Gilbert O'Sullivan sues my ass for playing it right now.
Don't sue Gators. It doesn't get you anything. He has no dollar. That's fine.
But now, in the early days of sampling, it was kind of the Wild West. There wasn't a precedent established because on the one hand, if you sample someone else's song to make your own song, you're creating an original song utilizing someone else's stuff as building blocks. Is that fair game or is that infringement? And there wasn't really a precedent established for that. But there was a rapper by the name of Biz Markie that he did this.
I was on my way to 125th.
I love this song. Girl, you got what I need.
Well, this is not that song. This is a different song, but it's the same guy. But notice that it's a parody.
Oh, She's Just a Friend. That's right, that one.
Right. But this one samples Alone Again Naturally, and he also does kind of sing the refrain. So I'll just. But anyways, Gilbert did not appreciate. Some say that what is it? The sincerest form of flattery. What is it?
Parody.
Parody. Well, not just parody, but copying or I don't know.
Imitation.
Imitation is most whatever. Imitation, flattery, blah blah blah, and that was not Gilbert's take on this. Gilbert was like, I don't like that, and I don't want that you should be allowed to do that. And I guess he asked permission. Gilbert said no, and since it was kind of the Wild West, it wasn't a precedent established. They released it anyways. So Gilbert sued them. And Gilbert came over to court, and like the record label was completely unprepared for this lawsuit. So they kind of just showed up and were just like, yeah, whatever. And the judge basically said, you're clearly in violation here. You need to, correct this, or we will pull every album for your entire label off the store shelves. So, like, they got their asses handed to them. And ever since then, you can't use 2 fucking seconds of something without asking for permission, let alone whether or not you're creating something unique and interesting and creative and worthy. No, if you don't got the person's permission and you lifted a few seconds of something, it's so that really kind of set the tone for there ain't no borrowing here without permission. And of course, everything after that's been built on that. Now, Sparky pointing out that you could use a scooter to go get Go-Gurt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We just open up a whole other can of worms.
Now, did Dune actually storm out of here, or is he still there quietly?
Was it the yogurt?
No, it was the police badge thing.
Oh.
Oh, when you said that, he ran away.
He cursed me for referencing the police badge thing. Which, right on. Fair game. Put me in my place, but don't leave. We talked about some other stuff here. We're talking about Go-Gurt now.
I mean, that's important.
I thought that was actually kind of an amusing reference.
Well, I think the problem is I made the reference from a negative point, calling it fake, whereas the other claim is that it's some honorary thing that was given out, so it's not exactly fair to call it fake. That's probably where
I've
the fuck
never
off
bothered to
comes
dig
from.
into it, because anytime anybody talks about that character, I go, why do I care?
I personally don't
I
care
don't
if
live
it's
in that
fake or if
state.
it's real. I mean, the issues are
Yeah.
what the issues are, and
That's up to the people in Georgia.
Yeah.
To me, it's
Yeah.
up to the people in Georgia to make that decision.
I think there are better things to make decisions on than is that plastic or is that real. That's but
I think I have a badge here someplace. I should wear it. Then we'd have 2 listeners left, right?
My first flight, I got a set of wings, so I'm just about ready to hop into the cockpit and take off. So there we go. I'm an honorary pilot, so I'm getting myself in deeper trouble here. So Sparky writes in, maybe PayPal should fine themselves for putting out misinformation about their $2,500 bullshit plan.
or start firing lawyers. Right?
Oh my God,
Hopefully.
it was so obvious. It was right there, and I didn't see it. Damn it, Sparky, you're a genius.
Yeah.
It's right there. Please tell me all the late night hosts have made that joke already, because that's. Well, I mean, maybe it's low hanging fruit. Maybe it's beneath them. But no, that is perfect. That is absolutely. Yeah. So anyways, I was saying at the top of the show that we do have an Amateur Hour Classics podcast. And I had intended to make that a showcase for the years of old shows that are just sitting in my vault, that many things never heard a second time, many things not really worthy of being heard a second time. But then again, I'm surprised people tune into this every week. So
Exactly. Thank you, Sparky. Thank you, Dune, if you're still here.
So, and if you're not, thank you anyways.
And thank you, Mars. Thank you, Mars.
Oh.
And I intended to keep up with it, and I didn't. And then after Venison passed away, I intended to revive it and keep up with it, to keep posting a lot of all those shows that Venison was here for all those years in his memory. I posted some, and I'll probably get back to it. But I do intend this time to get back to it again, and I'll probably fail to do it. But I did post one this past week. Sparky wins the internet tonight. Thank you, Sparky. But I did post something that's not Venison related this past week. Well, what happened was I was going through my files, and in the show archive there is a show that sits outside of the other show folders, because I have show folders, one for each year, that all my shows are organized, and outside of all those years folders is kind of a master folder where recordings are that they get made and then they moved into the right years. And there's this one show that's not my show, so it never got moved into one of the year folders. And I saw that sitting there from 2010, which is 12 years ago now, and I'm like, hey, that's an old show. I haven't listened to that in a long time. Let me pull it up and see if it's worth listening to. And what it is back in August of 2010, that wasn't exactly a good time for the Amateur Hour. Because depending on who you talk to, that was the month that either I quit NHB Radio or I was fired from NHB Radio, depending on who you ask.
I remember that.
Yeah. If you ask me, I was fired from NHB Radio because I specifically asked to continue doing my show and was told that I was not allowed to anymore. Which by
weren't you Wild Bunch, right?
Well, I was already simulcasting a Wild Bunch by then. I had been, mind you, in 2000 and at the end of the year 2008, when a bunch of drama broke up the NHB station, and then they reorganized in 2009. I decided not to participate in the 2009 reorganization because I had too much other shit going on. And I was like, well, let me devote more time to my music show on Wild Bunch, and let me work on my whole building a surround sound streaming station from the ground up. And instead of focusing my time on rebuilding NHB yet again with a bunch of drama queens that have made my life miserable. And I say that with all the love in the world towards all those drama queens that have made my life miserable and worth living all at the same time. Anyways, at some point in 2009, I decided that the music show on Wild Bunch just wasn't enough, and it really was turning into the regular Saturday night show again. And I'm like, well, this show would fit in fine on NHB again. Maybe I should just simulcast it. And Damon and Zoe went for it, and so in 2009 I started simulcasting the NHB and Wild Bunch, and then then at some point Damon decided to step back from station duties and sign the station. He didn't sign the station over to Rico, but he appointed Rico the manager of NHB, and Rico decided that he was going to put together his own small, scaled down management team. And so he asked me and Andrew of Take It or Leave It to join him as a 3-man management team. That way there's an odd number of people, so if they ever need to put anything to a vote, 2 votes wins. Not that we ever voted on anything, not that we ever had a management meeting, and not that we ever communicated much beyond a few initial emails. And that was where I started to become frustrated, because we never did anything as a management team to improve the station. Now, Rico himself did plenty of things to keep the station functional, updating the messenger app, maintaining the server. But that was just basic day-to-day stuff that made no positive, noticeable improvements to the station. Now, the station continued running
That was basically status quo kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, now the station continuing to run versus breaking down and not running, I guess that is a positive change. But that, that's he maintained the status quo. And
well, that was I'm going to take a wild guess that was what his agenda was.
Right.
But to keep things operating.
But what really and here's the thing, what really kind of what really I think justifies my disgruntledness that built up was that not only did I want to improve the station, but over the years, Damon had this annoying habit of either retreating to his own little world and ignoring the station, or showing up on the talk list and bitching about how much the station sucks and how much we all suck and how much we're ruining his station and how he should just pull the plug on the whole thing. So that it kind of so meanwhile, I want to improve the station.
Did you know that Damon was doing a music show on another station around that, or was it 2012, 2013, I think it was?
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
Okay.
I mean, he wasn't doing his NHB show, though.
No, I think he was on DBRN, actually.
Right. For a while, he was doing a music show. And in fact, he might be doing a music show now. In fact, I think last I talked to him, it's been a few years now.
I don't think he's doing a music show now. But
he doesn't answer. He rarely answers my calls, and he rarely calls me back. But we have communicated some over the past few years. We're not exactly as chummy as we once were.
Isn't he the general manager of the NHB Radio Network still?
Well, he absolutely is, but that doesn't require. Remember, Damon is at his best as a general manager when he's not around here bitching about everything. So the point is come August of 2010, Damon's around running his mouth, bitching about how much everything sucks and how much he's going to pull the plug. And everything that I go to Rico to about, like, hey, automation's really stale. Could you give me access to the server so I can kind of go in and prune or tweak the automation some? Or, hey, automation's really stale. Maybe we can introduce some full show replays, and if you give me access to kind of organize some folders and put some full shows in there, maybe we could try to tweak that. Or, hey, I want to the.
Can we stop listening to Schmidt in the microwave, please? Thank you.
Anytime you put in a request option, that is the first thing that gets requested.
Yeah.
And then it's the first thing that everyone complains about.
There was like a request thing on the page for a while, wasn't there?
There was.
Yeah.
And it was at the point that every time someone requested shit in the microwave, Rico would go in and delete the request because it was so over fucking played.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, we should probably take some of the overplayed classics out and put them on the YouTube channel to make them on demand, because they're, you know, it's
it was that, and what Mike versus Mike was played a lot too.
that one, and it was too long. It was too long to play in automation.
It was very long.
Now, granted, automation had an intelligence in there that you divided clips into short clips or long clips, so that long clips would only play. It would only play a long clip so many plays. But even so, some of the really long ones, you know, basically, if you already heard it, then you were going to tune out and you weren't going to tune back in anytime soon. So anytime I went to Rico with a suggestion of something I'd like to do or some change I'd like to see happen, he usually ignored me and didn't even reply to the email. And then I would send a snarky staff list message, and then Rico would reply, also snarky. And so that really, was that smart? Probably not, but I don't know what else I could have done except to just, you know, stay out of the situation and let the station continue to decline and let Damon bitch and moan about it and ignore him. And maybe in hindsight that would have been better, but I still stand behind.
Did you ask him, like, did people say, okay, Damon, what would you suggest? What do you want to do?
Well, it's funny you should ask that, because
did you write something up and say, what would you like to do?
Well, no. Whenever I asked Damon what he would like to see, he'd say, well, if you don't know by now, you know.
Yeah.
You should know by now. I've spent enough years telling you.
Did it have to do with boobs?
No, basically.
Because that's what he wanted.
Well, his vision for the station was to be more than a collection of shows sharing a stream, but to be a community of people participating in each other's shows. Yeah.
That's what that is. And you couldn't do music shows on NHB because there was no licensing.
But
you couldn't do a lot of stuff because there was no licensing for a lot of that stuff.
Right, but NHB was on its best when we all didn't care who went on live that night. We were all there, and we were all hanging out, and people would hang out in Ventrilo. People would be calling into the shows, and there'd be a running bit that would go from show to show.
Yeah,
that it was,
and sometimes there'd be random shows, so it would be a long, you know, raid of shows. That was kind of cool. That was really neat, and it was really cool when it was like improv, when it was just like, okay, I'm doing a show, guys. Sorry, you know.
But when you reach the 2010s and that period of time, most of us had grown up a bit, had gotten more serious in our careers, and did not have the free time to sit and listen and call in other people's shows every night of the week. And Damon can bitch about how that's not happening, but you can't really make a station policy that you're required to listen every night, or you're required to. You could never force those moments that Damon would love to talk about were like lightning in a bottle. It was lightning struck. It was lucky, and it worked. And when it worked, it was great. But if it didn't, you couldn't force that. And so that was Damon's big. Now, sure, there were things we could have done. We could have kept up on the automation better. We could have made better efforts to call into each other's shows. We could have held more meetings and been more in communication with each other. But the problem is no one wanted to do it, including Damon. Because if I tried to call Damon and say, hey, you're absolutely right. I love that you're out here trying to kick our asses into gear. What would you like to do about this? What's our plan? What should we do? And he basically would be like, fuck off, go away, I'm too busy. And it's like, dude, you came out here and stirred up the shit. Now let's you know. Now Mod Pro wants to know what Twitmo is. Well, Brian's account has been banned from Twitter.
It's just a name that people use for Twitter's jail.
It's Twitter jail.
Obviously came from Gitmo. I don't know if people are still using
it's not a Twitch jail, it's a Twitter jail. So that's the
Twitter. Yeah.
Twitch jail is just banned.
Yeah.
Banned for 3 days, you know.
So but anyways, what I'm getting to is that in 2010 tensions ran high, and I ended up basically rage quitting the station. But I didn't literally mean I want to quit and go away for good. I haven't either, Monro.
I haven't either.
I basically was just like, you know, fuck you all. If you're not going to help me help you, then I'm going to just go off and do my own thing. And now, of course, Rico took advantage of that opportunity to then turn off all my access and ban me from the station, and a lot of bad things came from this. And so one of the things is that between our back and forth and anger, Damon took to the streams one evening to do a special impromptu show where he proceeded to spend an hour explaining his side of things / trashing me on the stream. And I find it a little ironic to hear Damon in one breath saying that he's not here to trash me, he's just here to state the facts. But dude, someone ought to buy that guy a pack of diapers. And it's like, what part of that was not trashing me? Excuse me, you said you weren't gonna trash me, but then you called into question my being potty trained. I kind of, how do I not take that personally? And so I took to the airwaves after that show, and I did a rebuttal show in response to their show. And I had that recording, and so I listened to it this past week to see if there was anything funny or humorous or entertaining there. And after spending a few hours listening to them and trying to edit it into something, I can safely say no. No, there was absolutely nothing worth re-listening there. Now, Racer says he's found NHB in June 2010, been listening since. Well, I'm glad that throughout the drama of 2010 and past there or whatever, because, mind you, the drama passed. By December of 2010, I was back on the station, and we were all buddy-buddy again. So that's all water over the bridge. We just had to build a new bridge. But anyways, but, you know, there were... But the thing that really came out of that, though, was the match game. Because after they took to the airwaves to spend an hour trash-talking me, they decided to do a match game. But in order to do a match game, they needed 2 non-staff members to call in and be contestants. And so one person called in, but they couldn't get a second non-staff member to call in and be a contestant. And you know me, I love a good joke and I love a good punchline. And to me, after spending an hour trash-talking me, having me call in to be a contestant since I'm fired and no longer staff was like the obvious joke of the night. And so I called in. And they picked up the phone, and I said, match game? And Damon proceeded to scream, oh, hell no. And then we proceeded to play match game for the next half hour. I was expecting to get hung up on. I thought it's a funny joke. If they roll with it, great. If not, I made my joke. I didn't call in to defend myself. I didn't call in to go and you too or retaliate. I just called in to be a contestant on match game. And we all spent a half hour making jokes and having fun with each other after they spent the previous hour trash talking me.
Gators, was all the answers vodka?
No, but we ended up having a tied game because I matched Lisa with the answer of 42.
Oh yeah, the universal number.
Right.
The answer to that life, the universe, and everything.
Which we hadn't made reference to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy before we both said 42, but that was because people were answering numbers instead of actual answers that made sense in the fill-in-the-blank context. Because, well, anyways, I'm not going to say any more. All I'm going to say is if you go to amateurhourclassics.blogspot.com, I have uploaded that match game. Now, is that unheard audio? Is that rare? Probably not. I think after it happened, it was clipped for automation. It might even still play in automation. And if you listen to automation and you've heard the match game where Lisa does the whole 7 is greater than 5 type of thing, that's the match game. So if you've heard it and you don't need to hear it again, skip it. But if you want to hear a great classic NHP match game and you want to understand the context of I called in to be a contestant after they spent an hour trash talking me, and the reason I was able to be a contestant was because they fired me, so I was no longer staff. That's another level of funny to that clip. So just go to the amateurhourclassics.blogspot.com. There's a link that you could subscribe. I don't know how those links work. You got to have some kind of a reader or whatever. But the point is, it is a subscribable podcast. And even though it's been a year since I previously posted to it before this last one, I'm hoping to post more to it. So subscribe to that podcast. You never know when I'm going to find something that is worth reposting. I think I'm going to go back and look at some more of my 2010s, 2009, 2010 shows I'm going to try to find some more funny material with venison in it because I really did want to revive this podcast as a way to keep venison's memory alive, and I do intend to get back to doing that. So yeah, that's kind of the story of that match game, and we went on to continue to be friends and never had any drama between us ever again. Pause for massive amounts of laughter. So, and thank you, Racer, for sticking with us since 2010. So anyways, how many turntables does a man need?
6.
6? Brian, you got an answer for this one?
That sounds like a good number.
Okay. Let me think. How many do I have?
Basically need 2 more than quad. That's what you need.
6.
Yeah.
I think it's in order to determine the number of turntables a person needs, I have to count on how many turntables I have now, and then I need to add 1 to that number. And that's the formula. That's how many turntables. I always need 1 more. Is just
so
the
you have
answer.
5 right now.
X plus 1, X being the number I have now. That's how many turntables I need. Actually, let's see. I have the Newmark direct drive table that I use for Dune shows. I have the 2 NAD turntables. I have the ELAC 3-speed downstairs. I have the BSR 4-speed in the basement. So that's 5. Now, do broken ones count or do broken ones not count?
Those don't count because they're not working.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Do ones that only play 78s or require cranking count?
No, you can do cranking. Cranking counts.
Okay. All right. Well, I got the Crank Up Victrola.
It's working, so it counts.
And I got the Zenith radio that's got the steel needle one that plays the. So that's 7. Now, what about the Edison player? That only plays Edison discs, which is
that's the cylinders?
No, it's not. They're discs, but they're Edison discs. They're cut laterally, so it only plays Edison discs.
I don't.
It's kind of a proprietary format.
I mean, but it's still round and it goes around in a circle, right?
Yeah, it does. It does still. Okay, so that counts. All right, so that'd
counts.
be 8. That'd be 8. Okay, so we're up to 8 turntables.
Brian, look at chat.
There. Yeah, I was just
I did my job.
Okay. So Sparky sent you a link that is a screenshot from Gas Buddy app showing all the stations around him, and he can filter down to one type of station, and he doesn't have any chevrons around him, which is why he's going to the Turkey Hills, I guess, which has 20 cents off.
So you have 8? Now my question is, Gators, is, should the cylinder one count?
Well, I don't have a cylinder player, so we don't have to answer that question. I think you had a cylinder. Right now. I have cylinders. I don't have anything that plays them.
Why have you not got anything to play them yet?
Well, they look great on the shelf.
You should get a cylinder thing to add to your collection.
I do want to get a cylinder player.
And you can put Bluetooth on it so you can listen to it wirelessly.
Now that's just blasphemy.
You know someone's done it.
Getting a decent cylinder player, you're talking about $1,000 easy, and it might still need to be fixed up some.
Well, can you make one?
Now, maybe. I don't know. Now, Sparky going that he said 8 at the very beginning of the show. And so Sparky has won the internet twice.
Wow, Sparky. Look at that. He already listened to the show and then went back in time. That's what he's done.
That's what he did. He caught the podcast.
He listened to it in Hawaii and then came back here.
We do the Spaceballs thing. We post the podcast before we do the show.
Yeah, you better play the lottery.
Yeah.
And no, I didn't win. I don't live anywhere near the where.
Now, if you win the lottery as a result of this, I want a cut.
You already got $60. How much more do you need? Dang. Sparky's gonna send to people.
I can't buy a second house for $60.
Gators, you don't have enough polls to no more stripper polls. Otherwise, maybe you would get some money off of that.
Stripper polls?
There's some polls, stripper polls.
Why do I need wait? Where do stripper polls come in? I'm
if you want people to simp to you, Gators, you have to get some polls.
I don't know if I like that term.
What, simp? Oh, you're not allowed to say that. Actually, I think it's very un-twitchy. I'm sorry, Twitch. Don't kill me for that.
No, isn't that what we used to call nice guys And now
No,
aren't
no,
nice,
no. That's people that give you $1.
But aren't nice guys not considered nice anymore or something like that?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's complicated.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's complicated, and people like to simplify complicated things. And then I read that
I don't
and
think
I
you're
go,
allowed to say that on Twitch anymore.
I don't think I agree with that completely. I don't, Well, there used to be the saying that nice guys finish last, but lately these days it's suggested that those nice guys that think they finish last, that they're all just a bunch of jerks that think that women are things that they can trade in points for sex. And it's like, I used to feel like I was a nice guy that finished last, but I never felt like I was supposed to be trading in points for sex. So no, that's not at all nice guy. I understand the frustration of being a nice guy, but I never blamed anyone for it. But now it's suggested that nice guys blame women for not wanting to have sex with them and feeling that they're objects that you can trade in good deeds for. And it's like, no, I don't think that's what all nice guys feel. I think I don't. But then again, maybe I'm reading too much stuff and overthinking things too.
Was that on Reddit? Did I miss that one?
I don't know. I scroll through Facebook and Twitter too much sometimes and start clicking on things.
Facebook, it just gets you in trouble.
Well, that's what happened right here. So and so I don't know. Well, then again, I was reading a lot about. I was trying to make sense of the whole Amaranth thing, which is.
Is she banned again?
No, it's quite a sad story actually. She actually ended up having a public argument on the phone with her husband, and has come out that he's been abusive towards her.
Oh God, that sucks.
It's
I'm so sorry to her.
Now, and some people are focusing on the angle of wait, so she is married, and I thought it was already established, but that's also not really the issue.
I thought that was the thing.
Well, it turns out it wasn't really conclusively determined, because there was an old story a few years ago about some chat that she had with a moderator, that the moderator got all pissed off at her when he found out that she was married. And I knew that it turned out that chat transcript was fake and was not real. But it was never determined if the husband part was based on truth or not. And she's always been very hush-hush on her relationship status and not talk about it.
Yeah.
Which implies that there was one, so it's not all that surprising.
The idol mentality. You basically don't want your viewers to know you're married or have a relationship, so they can feel like they have for the males, they feel like they have a chance.
Which that's ridiculous because they don't. But
yeah. Well, yeah, but that's why there's Twitch. People can, right. Dream, but
I mean that is a legit thing, but it also is kind of a bullshit thing because but the point is that
I feel bad. That sucks.
Yeah, it really sucks. She had this argument on the phone. He's calling her a dumb fuck, and then she's throwing some chat messages that were going back and forth. And I don't think anything else. I don't know if she's even connected past that. I know people have posted parts of the stream, recordings of parts of the stream.
Yeah, she probably deleted that stream. I have a feeling.
But yeah, there's no VOD. She took that shit down.
Yeah. Which is right in the legal sense of view. Honestly, she should have taken that, because if this has gone into a legal battle, everything pertaining to that needs to go away.
Now, Sparky's asking if I'll settle for a Christmas. Dude, Sparky, if you send me a Christmas card, I will be so fucking thrilled. And the thing is Sparky probably could make that happen.
And watch it have a $5 gift card to Turkey Hill in it.
Yeah.
Oh, that won't be necessary. I'll settle for $2.
Oh.
But
let's see.
No. Just a Christmas card would be great. Bonus points if you send one in Gabe style.
Oh.
Gabe's the type of person that would buy the wrong type of card and cross out a word and replace it.
Oh, I did that. I did that to my sister once.
I think my favorite story is the story where I think Gabe got Addie a birthday card that said "Congratulations on your baby" and crossed out "baby" and wrote "birthday." Which it's like once someone's done it, you can't. It's not funny, and that's only funny the first time. So Gabe did it, so now I can't. I guess someone could go borrow it and do that on someone that hasn't heard the joke yet. But apparently Gabe was also popular for finding Black Jesus cards as well to send people.
Okay.
So bonus points if you find a Black Jesus card to send. Hey, whatever card you find. No, I'd be thrilled to get a card from someone. I would not feel stalked at all if you figured out where I live and sent me a card. I'd be totally flattered. No, but anyways, the reason I asked about the turntable is I've bought another turntable off of eBay.
Did you buy another NAD?
No. In fact, I'm kind of pissed at the NADs. That came out wrong. This is the problem with having. This is the problem with having more than one NAD turntable.
Oh dear.
Now that I have 2 NAD turntables, I have a pair of NADs on my shelf.
No.
So I've decided, no, that can't stand. I cannot have a pair of NADs on my shelf.
Did you sell them?
I have to get rid of one of them.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna sell one of them. So then I'll just have a NAD and a not NAD.
There you go.
Sparky writes that I solely ask questions week after week to figure out where Johnny lives. Oh no, you just got to tune into last week's video on demand and find the spot where it came up on the screen share when I was ordering things from Amazon. Was that last week or the week before?
I don't know. I missed last week because I
that
had
was
a random
last week.
person stalking my parking space.
We were talking about the pumpkin spice stuff, and there was like the pumpkin spice goldfish grams, and I was going to order a bag of them.
Gross! Did you buy those?
Well, they weren't cheddar goldfish; they were graham goldfish, and they were pumpkin spice flavored. I was going to order a bag, and then my address popped up on the screen that I was sharing, so I closed the window immediately. And I thought maybe Sparky caught it, and that's how he was going to send the Christmas card. But
as he's pulling up the VOD as we speak.
Well, that's how he's going to do it now. And the video on demand has pause. Just saying. But oh no! Hey, well, then we got time before the holidays to figure out where else we can go with this joke and see if we can make it run its course to a Christmas card ending up here. But anyways, the problem is that despite buying a second NAD turntable and putting my quadraphonic compatible cartridge on it, I'm getting intergroove distortion still on the quad playback. And I don't know if it's problems with the cartridges, but I don't think so, because one of the cartridges worked perfectly fine on a previous turntable that the tone arm went busted on, so I can't keep using that one. So I think that
Can you
maybe
use the copper pipe on it to fix your thing?
Well, no, one of the bearings has gone out, so that the tone arm has a tilt to it, which
so
is
you just need a new bearing
bad.
for it.
What's that?
You just need a new bearing for it.
Well, I don't. You know what? It has been said that some people can redo those bearings or those pivot points and tune up a tone arm. The problem was I took the turntable to a repair shop, and the guy didn't want to service it, so he kept giving me the runaround.
He's like, dude, that's not worth the money.
Right. He was doing it's probably not worth the money. Well, you know, you can't really, and there's nothing you can do, and you can't buy it, and you can't do this. And I'm like, dude, this is my turntable, and I brought it to you. You have a repair shop here. And he's like, you're probably better off buying something else. I'm like, well, then what do I do with this one? Well, then sell it. And I'm like, well, what's that? You're just telling me it's not worth repairing it, but then your answer to me is to sell it to someone else. And it's like,
so they can bring it to you.
Right. It's like, why is it worth selling it if it's not worth me doing something with it? And he's like, what is your attachment to this turntable? And I'm like, it's my turntable and I have it. I mean, that's what. So this guy just hem and hawed and chased it away. So that's when I decided to buy a new turntable, because at this point,
seemed like it was a simpler conversation than that. He doesn't want to do it. You walk away.
I should have. I really should. But the thing is I wanted to end my day with a turntable.
You'd have to find somebody else that is willing to do it.
See, Brian, when you have
you've got that. You're like a dog with a bone. You can't let it go.
Well, when you got a room filled with 2,000 records and you don't have something that plays it, you kind of want to come up with a solution to fucking play something. And that day, the best solution was buy something new. And if
you don't like that answer, that's fine. You go someplace else.
there wasn't someplace else for me to go. There's not exactly a lot of turntable repair shops in the area.
Well, you'll have to go beyond your area.
Right. No, it was... And I wanted to be able to play my 2,000 plus records without... And so it was like, I'll buy a new turntable now. Maybe I could fix this up another time for something else. So anyways, it's still sitting in the basement. I still don't know what I'm going to do with that. But...
Keep looking for turntable repair guys.
And then I liked that turntable enough that I decided to buy a second one for the quad stuff.
Yeah.
But the second one doesn't work great on the quad stuff, it turns out. So, and I don't know if it's the wiring in the tone arm or the mass of the tone arm or resonance or anti-skate or what the deal is. And Sparky points out that there are more Turkey Hills than there are turntable repair shops around Johnny's house. Well, if I go down the grocery store, there's Turkey Hill ice cream in the freezer aisle. Although that's the more expensive ice cream. But anyways, so I was doing a little research, and I found that actually Technics made some good quad-compatible turntables back in the day. And so I go on eBay and start looking at a few models, and I see that, oh my God, including shipping, I can buy a Technics SL1700 for $300, which is less than half the price that I paid on the second NAD turntable. So I buy the Technics, I put the NAD back in its original box, I sell the NAD for twice what I bought the Technics for, I come out ahead. So that's my game plan. And I already actually... Well, I reached out to Gothard. I said, hey, Gothard, you want a NAD? And he said, I've been waiting my whole life for you to ask me that.
I'm sure he...
No. I'm kidding.
No, I said I'm sure that was actually his response, which was ironic and laughing, you know.
Well, that's not exactly what I asked him.
You should have asked him that, dude. You know he would have gotten a reaction out of it.
So, anyways, I asked Gothard if he's interested in buying such a turntable and made him an offer at like the exact same that I paid for it. You know, he can come pick it up next time. And he's like, well, I got to think about it. Because the one hand, it's a good deal. But the other hand, he already has a decent turntable. So he doesn't really need it. But I may as well give him first crack at it.
Is he going to use it for quad?
Probably not. He does mostly stereo listening. He just... Okay. He likes the quad, but he's not as into the quad as me. And for him, I mean, he's living in a full house. He set up a home theater system in the main TV room, but one of the people he lives with spends most of her day sitting in front of the TV. So basically, I think he just got a stereo set up with a turntable someplace to listen to his music. He really hasn't had a chance to put together a quad or surround system for his own personal playback. But, you know, it's priorities and busyness and things like that. Yeah, you know, pretty much. He's not a quad nut like he likes it, but he's not a nut about it, whereas I'm a nut about it. So if he doesn't take it, I'm going to box it up and throw it on eBay. I don't know if I think I might put like a buy it now on there and try to make a little small profit on it because it's still practically new. And I got a good deal for it, and the reason I got a good deal for it was because there was an online store that listed one of the NAD turntables that had some cosmetic damage for a cheap price. And they sold it to someone at the store but forgot to remove it from the online store. So when I went to buy it from the online store, they came back and said, "I'm sorry, this already sold, but we'll sell you a brand new one that doesn't have a cosmetic problem for $50 more," which is basically they were selling it probably break even or for a small profit at that point, just to appease me since they made that mistake. So basically it's normally $1,000 turntable. I got it for like $650, $700 around there, all said and done. Cool. So and if I could get $700 for it, heck, if I could get $600 for it, I'd be happy at this point. I'll take a little hit on this, but being that it's brand new, I should be able to get $700. So, but I mean the big if is that this Technics SL1700 needs to get here undamaged, which means that the eBay seller needs to know how to package a turntable without it getting damaged, being thrown around and shipping.
Put it in a bubble wrap envelope.
So, that's That's one method.
I just said, the problem is that's what people do. They're like, oh, I'll just put it in a bubble envelope. That's very breakable. That's not gonna fix that.
I've received 78s in bubble envelopes.
And how did they turn out? Were they okay?
A lovely pile of shards.
Okay.
Right now, the NADC 588 sells at Crutchfield and Audio Advisor for $999. So it's still $1,000 turntable, brand new. I got it for like $650, $700 in that range, and
that's actually a pretty good deal.
Yeah. So I mean, heck, I can make it move like that at $600 probably. But I don't know what they. You know what I should look at? I should look at what they sell for on eBay.
Yeah.
Used or open box, if there's any examples of that. So let me pull up the sold listings and type in NADC 588 and see if there's any examples of sold ones on Amazon. And I see a bunch of NAD amplifiers and other things. No one has sold an NADC 588 turntable. Someone sold an NADC 556 for $200, but I don't know what that model compares in the line of things. It's probably an older version. You know what? There's the C558 and the C588. The 588 is the more expensive one I have. The 558 is a cheaper one. So the 556 is probably an older version of the 558.
Which model are you selling?
NADC 588. They sell brand new for $1,000 basically. The 558 sells for $700. Anyways, so that's my plan. My plan is buy a cheaper used turntable that's a vintage turntable that's still a damn good turntable for quad. Box this up, come out ahead, and then maybe I could use some of that money to buy a jukebox, and then I'll have something nice to play my 45s on.
Are you get one of the bubble ones? The ones with the bubbles on the side?
Actually, I think I'm going to get a disc the Q.
Oh.
I'm thinking. Well, it depends if it disappears or not. Right now on Facebook Marketplace, there's someone north of me that has a disc the Q for sale, which is actually a discotheque, but they made the O in discotheque look like a big record, so it kind of stands out as and doesn't really blend in as a letter, so it looks more like it says disc the Q.
It's French, right?
Yes, that's the ticket. It's French. Now here, let me see. In fact, it may be gone already. Because I think they were only asking like $100 for it. So.
Oh wow.
It probably will disappear quickly. So I just searched for jukebox on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm not seeing it right now. So I wonder if someone.
For $100, I'm surprised you didn't say yo, give me.
Well, I have to make a truck appear. And make a trip with it up north.
Oh, they weren't gonna send it to you.
No. This is you pick it up. You bring someone with you. Here it is. $150 in Massachusetts. So let me.
Oh, you could have made that trip, right?
Well, but I don't have a truck, so I don't have anything to put it in. Basically, Kristen's dad and myself trade favors. I help them move. They help me make some ridiculous Facebook purchase. So I help them move. They help me buy the bar that has the stereo built into it with 8-track that I have downstairs. Yeah. And then I help them move again. And so now they'll help me buy a jukebox.
So you could just rent a U-Haul and go pick it up.
Well, I also probably need a second person to help me move it.
Okay.
I guess I could just rent a U-Haul because I got to figure out what his schedule is, and then also I got to I got to get the cash.
Hey Gothard, yeah, I know you're just here, but you want to take a trip?
Well, hey, Gothard could borrow someone's truck, and the Dallas Texan is here, and Sparky confirming it's still $1,000 for that turntable. So let me just show you the jukebox I'm thinking of buying here. So as you can see here, it says Seaberg Disc the Q. Although actually that record's
you have
is
Seaberg
a no.
radios or Seaberg records, right?
What's that?
You have Seaberg. Don't you have records from Seaberg?
Well, Seaberg is a company that had made different.
You have those Muzak records or something,
right?
Right.
The Seaberg 1000 background music system that plays the 16 RPM records. Well, this isn't going to play those. This just plays standard 45s.
Oh, but you have a mode on there to do that.
But it's the same company.
Oh.
But it's a pretty colorful, nice design there. And it'll hold 80 45s at a time, which is way less than half my collection even. But having one player that can hold 80 45s and then like randomly play through them would probably be something fun for me to do, because it's a bit of a pain to only be able to play 45s 10 at a time on a stacker. Not to mention the stacking turntables stopped working. When it gets to the end of the first record, it drops the second one, and then it parks the tone arm. So whatever triggers it to replay isn't triggering it to replay anymore. And, I mean, the mechanics in vintage changing turntables are pretty complicated. So I don't even know where to begin figuring out where in the gears and dials and things it's not tripping something.
So WD-40 isn't going to do it?
No, I tried that already. And then I had to clean the bearing again to get it to stop slipping and actually play properly. But no, I'm joking. I know how to properly lube my turntables. That sounded wrong. Well, I guess it's better than saying I know how to properly lube my nads. So
right
there is I got that going for me. Sparky's telling me to rent a U-Haul pickup truck that has an electric tailgate lift on it. Well, the other thing is I have no idea where this jukebox is in relation to the exit, because sometimes you go someplace and it's up a flight of stairs, or it's down a flight of stairs.
Call the guy and ask him.
Right. So I got to figure out the logistics of that. And like I said, Chris and Sad owes me a favor, and he's got this cool utility belt system where you put these suspenders on, and you both wear them, and then you kind of thread the strap through them and put the strap underneath the thing, and you each hunch down and you tighten the strap, so that way when you both stand up at the same time, the strap lifts underneath, and of course you stand using your back, and then you just got to balance this thing on the strap between you and figure out who's going to walk backwards down the stairs. So you know, it's a two-man job, and someone owes me a favor, and the guy has a truck. So we just got to figure out his work schedule and when he's going to be around for a weekend. Oh. And Sparky pointing out that takes 2 Strong's backs, John. Yeah, it does. It does. I don't know. You ever think of having a jukebox there, Brian?
Nope.
If you were allowed to, would you think of having a jukebox there, Brian?
Nope.
I have my jukebox. It's called my Echo. I just tell it to play a playlist and it goes.
Even in your younger years, you never thought jukeboxes were cool?
Oh, they're cool. I just wouldn't want to own one.
Why not?
I don't want to have to fix it.
You could afford to hire someone to fix it, Brian.
But I don't want to do that, though.
Fair enough. I mean, I think we really did piss off doing this week. I feel
Gators, you had problems. You had problems getting.
You think he was out of town?
Send
and
you
he
a
just
repair
decided,
board for
I
a
don't have to be part of this.
No, he was in town. He lost power yesterday. Actually,
yeah, he did.
He
lost
Saturday.
Right.
No, not yesterday. Saturday he lost power.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how my changing the pressure relief valve on my furnace knocked out the power in Wichita, but there you go. I think he had it back yesterday, but he wasn't feeling like doing a show, so he was gonna listen today. I thought he might even call in today, but then I had to go wisecracking about police badges. But
I didn't
whatever.
do it.
He's just sensitive.
And yes, I do still co-host 6 to 8 on Sundays. If Dune calms down by then. But
you have a week, it's fine.
One thing's for sure. if I'm ever not doing the co-hosting on Sundays at 6 to 8, you won't have to speculate about it. It will be because I was fired, not because I quit.
Oh.
So unlike the whole August in 2010 thing where it was, well, this person says you quit, this person says you were fired, there won't be any confusion about it. Dune and I will probably both tell you, yeah, dude was fired. But
you can still call in for the show, though, right?
Oh, I kid. Dune and I, we can handle whatever bullshit. I say something on a Monday, Dune stops listening, and then we never talk about it again, and we continue being friends. We've got a good system going here.
Perfect.
I say what I want on my show. He could say what he wants on his show, and we got the pause button if anything happens, but nothing has. But no, we weren't on yesterday because Dune wasn't feeling good yesterday.
And maybe he wasn't feeling today, so he said, nah,
Yeah, no, he clearly wasn't feeling it today. But
either that or
sorry.
because Pineapple Hoops is other pool. I don't know.
Oh, what are we doing this show for?
I don't know. I was watching it before you showed up. Before the show started, I was like, oh, okay.
Damn. So anyways,
sorry, we might have just lost Sparky. Sorry, Sparky. See ya.
Oh, heck, Velvet Seven's on too.
Pineapple is now offline.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't go yet.
She was
Laurie Bug's on.
She was getting eaten by mosquitoes, so she's not on the. She just left apparently.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what we're gonna raid today.
I don't know.
Well, we'll raid Rachel, possibly. Or we could always just say screw it and raid the stop sign cam.
I'm sharing my camera. I'm only sharing my video. My.
So someone set up a live camera feed at a stop sign that a lot of people blow through, just so that we could all watch and wait to count how many cars blow through the stop sign.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Dang.
That sounds right.
Yeah. So we could always raid that if we want to.
That could actually be a little fun, just to kind of see what's happening. Do we know where this is?
I think it's somewhere in Massachusetts, but also it's kind of it's slow most nights of the week. So like right now, I'm just watching an empty road with a blinking light.
I think it's also dark.
Yeah, and it's rainy, so it could be long periods of time between cars that may or may not stop. So
or maybe it's a place where people go in and chat with each other.
Now, it's something that gets boring really quick, but it still makes me happy that it exists.
Kind of like the one I watch sometimes. It's people send me to the one where there's a bunch of shrimp in a tank.
Now, what I like is the retro commercial.
Fun.
I like the retro commercials channel. It just plays
that one.
It plays retro TV commercials all day long.
I watch that one, and I watch one that does 80s cartoons, which is. I was watching RoboCop before the show too, before Pineapple Hoops. So
yeah, let's see. Right now we got a commercial for Unisys.
Yeah.
The power of squared. Okay, let's see what commercial's going to come on next.
In half an hour, there's a chill in the air for Sesame Street, so we're all trying to find our warm coats and.
Oh, we're watching BBC Four.
For now, though, we're going to have a hot cup of tea with Conrad. Start here.
So we're watching British commercials now.
Yeah, sometimes they do Japanese. Sometimes they'll do stuff from the 70s and 80s. And I saw one that was from the 50s. That was a cool one the other day. They did like an hour block of 50s commercials. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get. I mean, it's mostly 80s, 90s commercials, but every now and then. I did one night. It was great fun the one night while I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, randomly, a bunch of Japanese commercials came on. That was hilarious. That was great fun.
I watched a couple of those. Those are pretty good.
But I just love the British channels where you just have that no background music, straight voice. Coming up at the top of the hour is
Gators. I really miss Madro. I miss the Modro app for my Fire Stick because I miss watching Sky TV on all that stuff. It was great.
yeah, that
oh
was.
man,
I mean,
Modro was so good, and there hasn't really been a good replacement for it.
no, I mean it was clearly something illegal going on there.
A little. Come on, you can watch. You can watch all the pay-per-play channel.
And they got busted, hardcore.
Dude. Yeah.
Sparky going. How about BBC 8 for 8 turntables?
Yeah.
There we go. No, well, anyways, I do think we do need to, at the very least, talk about what we've learned here tonight. Because once again, we have drawn to a close another fun-filled edition of
Insert title here.
But we do try to be educational here. So, Brian, what have you learned this week?
I learned that that Sparky learned that Twitmo was Twitter's jail.
No, that was Mod Pro. Learned.
Oh, Mod Pro. Oh, oops! How did I miss that? And I learned that it was Mod Pro, not Sparky Toaster.
Yes. And Mars, what have you learned this week?
That you have a dollar bin special of Gilbert and Sullivan. Oh wait, that's the wrong one.
Gilbert Sullivan.
You know what?
Yeah.
It wasn't Gilbert and Sullivan though. It was somebody else.
It wasn't Gilbert and Sullivan. It was Gilbert O. Sullivan.
Oh, so I was close. So Gilbert and Sullivan. Okay.
Gilbert and okay. All right. Fine. You know what? No, I got free Gilbert and Sullivan because that was in my great-grandparents' record collection.
Yes. If you want to buy Gators Nads, look on eBay.
No, not my Nads. I'm only selling one of my Nads on eBay. The other one I'm keeping.
The left one?
Actually, no. It's on the right, the one I'm keeping.
Okay, there you go.
I'm selling the left one. Okay. I'm selling the left Nad. I'm keeping the right Nad.
He doesn't need the left Nad anymore.
No, it's overkill.
It has no use.
I'm going to replace my left Nad with a Technics SL 1700.
I went to what was it? It was Montgomery Ward's, and I went to go buy a Technics receiver, and they gave me a Sony one that was worth about 8 times the price, and I just walked away with it. Yeah.
Now Sparky learned that Johnny has a turntable for sale on eBay soon, and the left Nad dried up. Now Sparky pointed out there's a Twitch channel called Only MXC. Now MXC was Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, which is basically a redubbing of what Takeshi's Castle, which is a Japanese game show. Mm-hmm. But Sparky says that the channel is Strange Challenges. It's in Japan, so maybe it is the original Japanese streaming of the show. No, it's the dubbed version.
Oh, it's the dubbed one. That used to be on Spike TV, if that thing's still around.
Yeah, no, that is a great show. I love that show.
Did you ever watch Wipeout?
Yeah, well, Most Extreme Elimination Challenge is far superior to Wipeout, but it's the same premise.
Yeah.
I just like when they're dressed up and they're running across the thing that turns around, and they fall over, and they go, "Oh, the big long thing that turns." I like that
right.
One.
Yeah,
that's my favorite part. Yeah.
But anyways, we got to find someone to raid here. So let's see. Oh, I thought Ray Rachel was live, but I don't see her showing up anymore. So I don't know who we're gonna raid this week. I don't see any of my regulars. None of my regular music ones, anyways. So I don't know. We might have to just raid Velvet 7 again. So I think Dune did that one time, and Velvet 7 is great fun, and for obvious reasons. So we're gonna go ahead and I mean that's where Sparky's going anyway, and right if I know Sparky, he's gonna end up at Velvet.
Either that or he has 2 Twitch channels open at the same time.
All right, so thank you everyone for listening. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. And actually, Sparky has 3 tabs open. And there we go. And now 2 of them are going to be set to the same channel. All right, thank you, everyone. Good night.
Bye.
And we have raided.
All right.
And now Brian can meet Velvet 7. All right. Well, good night. Catch you later.